for it to catch up.
Well, welcome everybody. I'm so delighted that you are here, and I'm so delighted that the spiritual circles are back. I'm so excited. It's back by popular demand. We used to have, for of you who are newer to the DGA community, in the beginning, we used to have two circles. We would have our spiritual circle, and then we would have our coaching circle. And they would go into different topics that are available on the app. So the app has some spiritual practices, just some spiritual building things on there. And then, of course, we have our coaching topics and things like that. So we at first, I think it was just too much for people to go to two and wasn't sure. But so we were just doing one circle, really focusing on a lot of the practical applications, a lot of the coaching philosophies. I'm gonna be letting people in too, so sorry. And working a lot on the coaching philosophies, more practical things and stuff like that. Approaches had a lot of great topics with the coaching, and so with the spiritual topics, I heard from the community and people said, a lot of times to really even deepen the coaching practices and a lot of those practical applications, it's really good to even have some more fundamental foundation when it comes to some of our spiritual practices. So we got the spiritual circles are back. And what better one to come back with of talking about anxiety alchemy, right? And how we can use presentiment in order to get our power back. And so the great thing about our spiritual circles is that wherever you come from, whatever your position is on your spirituality, however that may look, it can apply to you. It's a plug and play, right? However you believe, wherever you are in your spiritual journey, you can apply this to where you are. So and I look forward to you all sharing some of your practices because in the spiritual space, it's really a chance for us to share our stories. It's a way for us to be able to talk and express where we've gone in our spiritual journey and how we've come to the place that we are. And so I think it's a wonderful place because it's a little bit more open and talking and not so like practical, get these things done. But y'all know me, I'm a coach at the heart, so we still gonna get to some like real life, like how can this start working for me today? So yes, anxiety alchemy. This it's a 5 module course. It's available. It'll be available on the app tomorrow. So if this is something like it really resonated and it started stirring up something in you, definitely do a deeper dive into the course and it really break down like even some of the science that we'll talk about today, some of the research, some of the studies, some of the like if you love that kind of stuff behind the scenes of how this all works. So I'm gonna kick it off by just put myself out there. I was gonna have someone come and speak, one of my former clients, or well, she's still a client. She used to be one of my Better Up clients, and now she's moved over to the DGA community. And she was going to share her testimony of how she, has dealt with overcoming anxiety. And so I'm going to put a whole disclaimer out there now, right? I am not a medical doctor, but we're going to go into a deep dive of that because anxiety now is a new buzzword. Everyone is saying it. If you think about it, like 10 years ago, did anybody remember hearing people say, like, I have anxiety or this anxiety, or maybe it's your anxiety, right? The conversation wasn't as norm as it is today. So a lot of people are either self-diagnosed anxiety or a doctor's diagnosed as anxiety. Either way, it's something we feel in our body. And so the way that if you look up the word anxiety, it means something in the future, right? If we're everybody is anxious at some point, right? We all feel the feeling of anxiousness. But anxiety is when it comes to a point where it's really hard for us to be able to, yes, absolutely, Lisa, it was taboo for sure. Um, and so the medical world describes anxiety as being a heightened sense of something about to happen, a heightened sense of too many, chemicals in the brain that are overreacting, telling your body is in fight or flight. So, they have that way to diagnose anxiety. So I'm going to come with my testimony since my client couldn't come to share her testimony. And I'm going to show y'all, I'm not just talking the talk. I am walking the walk. Here is my official look diagnoses with Busporin. You can see my name on it. that I was diagnosed with anxiety. I was on anxiety meds a year ago, on and off, like after 3 years ago. So the first time I even heard like, wait, it could be anxiety was after my first miscarriage. And I'm sorry, after my second miscarriage. And I just could not get it together. I was afraid. I could feel it in my body. It was just something fell off. So when I told the doctor, she was like, well, you just experienced this. It sounds like you have anxiety. Here's some medicine. Take it and it'll help you calm down. And I'm like, okay, fine. So I took it as I continue to do other things to heal from that experience, a coach, a therapist, friends, and I kind of sort of didn't need it as much. So I thought it was fine. But then I started realizing whenever I have an incident or something will come up, I would have this like after it, I would just still have this heightened like something's happened. I'm afraid. I'm afraid. I'm afraid. Something's going on in my body. And my faithful old doctor, here goes this anxiety. So after this last wreck, I actually was prescribed the anxiety medicine for something else. And so I had my wreck, as many of you know, last year. This is the crazy thing about it. When I was getting ready to leave, because I was rushing all day. And so I had to come home for something and I had to go over to my workspace at the Hive in Kennesaw. And even I was rushing, I felt something say, just stay here and meet it and take your client. Like, don't go into the space. Just stay here and see your client. Because I'm like, if I leave now, I'll get to the space right in time to meet my client, who was one of my regulars that I meet online. I could have taken it home. I literally was at the door and I stopped and I said, I'm gonna take my anxiety med because something feels off. I took the anxiety med, jumped in the car, and not even halfway there, I get into the wreck. So I shared that testimony to say, like, not only has this been something I have actively done in the last year to get myself completely off, but to really understand how we can transmute the energy of anxiety into something different. And that's the alchemy part of it, right? It's about transmuting and transforming one energy into another energy. So before we get into just of more of this, like the ways and steps that we can really look at our anxiety, if you feel open to share, has anybody experienced anxiety? And if so, would you be open to share with us of how that feels in your body? Um, or just, your experience with it, even if you ain't been medicated for it.
I
Some people
haven't
ain't got
been
to.
medicated for it, but like, I'm one of those self-diagnosed ones. I don't
No,
take
that's
medication.
real.
I just prefer to take vitamins over medicine. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I know like pretty much everything that I feel, no matter what, is always in my stomach. Always a
Mm-hmm.
heart race, um,
Mm-hmm.
and stomach. That's my anxiety, my heart rate, my heart. I
Mm-hmm.
can't say a specific situation, but I know when something like, you have your intuition. So I do feel like the
Mm-hmm.
intuition, oh, what something's going on, something's gonna happen, and I'll feel it in my stomach, I'll feel it heart race, and then my kid will call, oh, I just got pulled over, or something will happen to me, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, I didn't listen to my body, but my body tells me. But it's
Mm-hmm.
just sometimes I'm too much in the moment to not even listen to my body. But I will feel it stomach and heart for sure.
I
But I
love
can't say
that.
a
Me,
specifically like a specific time. I cannot like it's just random, so I can't
yeah.
say a specific time. Sorry.
Oh, I love, thank you. Listen, that's mine too. It's my gut and my heart. I'll get the heart racing, feel like almost like indigestion, like, hmm. And I used to take indigestion stuff. I'll be like, I just got indigestion. I didn't even eat anything that would cause me indigestion, but I was like, it is in the heart. And it makes sense because with your heart organ is actually an intuitive like receptor. So, and they've done all this stuff. If you ever studied a Heart Math Institute, they talk about how they can actually see our heart field about 5 to 6 feet outside of ourselves. And it's in our biofield. And they have all these ways to see now, like you can almost feel that because the heart is an intuitive organ. It's like a receptor. So that makes so much sense that we would feel it in our heart. and of course in our gut. Yes, Coco.
I was just gonna add, I feel it in my heart rate as well. Heart rate increases.
Mm-hmm.
I get like jitters, like a
Mm,
nervous feeling, like kind of how I feel before I'm about to go on stage or before I'm about to
mm,
take a really hard test. Just like a
mm,
nervousness, and tension, and I find myself to be quite fidgety as well.
mm-hmm. Absolutely. I definitely get the like sweaty palms or like my fingertips. Sometimes I'll like do this
Mm.
little thing, ooh, just feel it in my fingers. And it's like, ooh, it's that.
Mm.
Yeah. Those are all absolutely common for sure. And it's different for everybody. And I love how even Alyssa started to tap in on it. It's like being present in the body to be able to tap in and say, what's going on? This is just a reaction that something is about to happen, and how we can be able to be more connected to see. So that brings us to the power of presentiment. So, you know, I don't want to, I be having notes. So, presentiment is the body's subtle awareness of an event, emotion, or energy before conscious minds knows it's coming. So it's often felt as a flutter in the stomach, a shift in breath, unexplained mood waves, heart palpitations, stomach, upset stomach, and they have like list a lot of other things, but it's the body's intuitive radar sensing change before it's visible. So the science calls this pre-conscious psychological response. So science has actually been able to know what this phenomenon is, and it's your energetic field translating information across time. So they did this really phenomenal study where through the Institute of the Awaken Mind, where they hooked people up to these EEGs and all of these machines, field sensors on their hand, and they showed people images, you know, hard, you know, scary images, this, and they saw how their body would react. Well, after a time, people's bodies was responding before they even showed the images. So the body almost could tell if it was going to be an image that would cause them anxiety or image that was relaxing. And so they started making the delay of the picture further and further and further. And almost 8 out of the 10 participants would already have the body reaction. And 3, 4, 5 minutes later, they would show that the image, which was something that was anxiety. Then their body would calm down, and then their body wouldn't respond. The next, would be a calming thing. So they showed like there is this field that our bodies are already going to sense something about to happen. Something, we can anticipate something is going on. So that's just a little bit about sort of the science behind it. So, what I want to talk about is the introception. So, interception is your ability to sense what's happening inside your body. So this is the heartbeat, this is the rhythm, muscle tone, gut, temperature shifts. And so it is said then, I concluded that if I could get better with my introception abilities, then naturally my presentiment would be better because my presentiment is already my body's reaction to it. So the introception is me being able to be attuned and in tune with what's going on inside and being able to listen to those clues a little bit better. And that's some of the exercises that I'm going to share with you all today that we'll do in real time to just start to tap into this and to see how this could work. So before we kind of go into that, the little exercises, can anybody, if they want to share the last time they had like an intuitive hit, like where they know it, you knew it was intuition. So rather it was like you were driving and you go your regular way and something said go left. Rather it's one of those, or the phone rang and you kind of knew who it was already. Anybody can think of the last time they had an intuitive hit. Fireflies, note taker Kenyatta, please. Yeah, is your hand raised? I see your hand raised. I don't know if it's by. Oh, that was my hand raised. Sorry. And you can either put in the chat, you can um say it, but just the last time you had an intuitive hit.
I think mine's is where my son called And right away I knew something was wrong. Then I get the call, and then he told me that he had got arrested. I already
Mm.
felt in advance, oh no, I'm gonna get a call. Like, which one of my kids? I have five, so which one of them is it?
Mm.
I already felt something was going down. So I think that I guess it's the connection with my bloodline that
Mhm.
really, to
Mhm.
me, like when my kids are going through something, I'm like real quick, oh, who's doing something, who's going through something. I think that that's something that I think I feel theirs before I feel mine first. So
Right.
I think that was the last time, and that was just a few months ago.
Okay.
Maybe
And
less than a few months, but
if we can kind of go back in that time a little bit, can you think about what sort of started stirring up in you before it happened? Was it like I had my coffee, I was fine, and then something just came over me? Was it, can you describe like what that was?
I just actually I was just watching TV, and then my heart starts pumping fast. I'm feeling it, like feeling it coming out of my heart and my
Mm-hmm.
out of my chest basically, and I'm like, what's going on? Then I feel like something in my stomach, like, oh
Mm-hmm.
my God. Well, that's what I felt. And I know I was just watching TV, and then the phone call comes in. So yeah, that's that's
Yeah,
how I experienced it. But it's been a while since
absolutely.
then. I don't think I haven't felt that in a while. But I guess it's just those major things that really get me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And those are the big ones. That's when our body, when it's like those heightened real fight or flights, that's when our body is really heightened to it. Like it doesn't matter what you're doing. That thing is that interception is gonna come in and be like, hey, something's wrong. So it don't matter if you're on medication, it's gonna come hard. And some people really do, even with medicine, they still feel those very strong pulls. um Anybody else had a last hit? And it could be even intuition of something like good was about to happen, like you feel like I'm about to get good news, or something good is about to happen, because that's also an anxious feeling that it still could feel weird in our body, like our hands are sweaty. Like I said, when Coco mentioned like getting on the stage, it's something you're really excited to do and you're happy to do, but your body's still having like this very heightened sense of anticipation. So that's, oh, go ahead, Coco. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to ask, I don't think this is it, but this is something I made a note of out loud here lately when I watch live TV or something. And then I'll be having commentary with Wayne about it, and I'll say something very explicit. And then, literally, like 5 seconds later, their commentator will say pretty much what I just said. I don't
That
know
is an
if that,
intuitive
I
hit.
don't know. Okay.
Absolutely. That's
And now,
intuitive
and I've
hit.
been
That
noting
is,
it like I just said
yeah.
that, and that's happened a few
Yep.
times. Okay. Okay.
That's one of those phenomena. And it's almost like knowing people who are very intuitive also tend to, one of the signs that you're a very intuitive person is that you overtalk people, or you talk faster because you already know what they're going to say, and part of you is responding to their future response instead of talking to them in real time. So this was something I had to learn with one of my gifts, is that I just thought like I talked fast, I overtalked people, I didn't listen because I would already know what they're going to say. And my husband used to say this would kill him, because I'm arguing the point he's saying, but I'm already setting up the point for what he already going to say. He's like, you don't know what I'm going to say. I'm like, and then I already he's like, you're already responding to me in something I didn't even say. And I'm like, because you're about to say it, so I'm already giving you my answer. That kind of thing is boom, telltale sign you are very intuitive. If people have told you this, this is a sign that hey, it's something we deal with. But that's
Hmm.
absolutely one. It's the knowing what somebody's going to say before they say it. It's responding to something someone was going to say and they didn't even say it. That's when about that happens. I'll already answer something that somebody was about to have the question to, and they're like, "Oh, that's crazy. I was just gonna ask you that." If you ever had that intuitive hit, I was just gonna ask you something. I was just about to say that. Yeah,
Right.
I'm already
Right.
there. I'm already there. Sorry. Thus, I need to do a lot of present work
Okay.
to not jump in the future. And again, if you're doing this, you're living in the future. So if you're living in the future all the time, you're going to be anxious, right? Because you're always living in the future. Yes, Dana.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, you know what? I'm not intuitive at all. And then I thought about it because I'm like, I don't relate at all. I think I'm just disconnected from everything. But then I thought about it when you said that you answer stuff before, and then I realized, you know what? I do that with people. Like if I hear about someone, I don't necessarily have to meet them in person. I can already discern if I like the person or not.
Mhm,
It's like the energy I get from you just mentioning their name or
mhm,
telling me a story about that person.
mhm.
And then in the past, I thought it was just me. Like, I'm like, you know what? It's just me. Like, I really do like this person. Like, I just didn't give myself a chance to know them or whatever.
Mhm,
But in the end, I am literally always right. So now I just stick with my
mhm.
gut feeling. Like, if I hear your name and I'm not necessarily feeling it, I'm just gonna leave it like that.
Absolutely. And see, that is a very intuitive thing. It's so many ways that we're intuitive, but it's just we just know like this is how I am. We don't really get why we might be doing these things. But I definitely can see that even to the point where you'll do things ahead of things because you already know you anticipate it's going to be a need. So again, anxiety being about anticipation, moving already in the future. So people who are very organized, operational, 3 steps ahead of everybody, right? I've already thought of that, already planned for that, already do this. That is a big telltale sign. This is a person who's very, very intuitive. And so because you kind of already can anticipate something happening. And through time, we've learned that with skill, right? It's not that, oh, we just, you know, have memorized people and have committed to memory. No, we start knowing how to feel those moments out. So again, if you're doing that, can you see now you're in the future almost every day, right? Because you're planning ahead, you're already thinking ahead, you're already speaking ahead, you're already feeling ahead. 80% of us is in the future. We're barely here. So it would make perfect sense for us to feel these experiences of anxiety. It makes total sense because anxiety is the future, it's anticipation.
I I
So
just, I just have a quick question.
yeah.
Because I was on vacation with an older gentleman that I adopted. I call him my adopted dad. He
Mhm.
has no family, so I adopted him. And he's got these things on his bucket list. So we went on a vacation to travel places he wanted to see. But he's an older gentleman, and I'm driving the vehicle, like I'm doing Miss Daisy or whatever type thing. I'm driving the vehicle because he wants to see these places, but I'm taking him. But his anxiety was so high that I was feeling it in my shoulder, like the whole time.
Mm.
Drive, I would feel it, and I'm like, and then when I didn't drive, like when we were got to where we got, the pain in my shoulder was gone. So at
Mhm.
first I was like, oh my God, I'm in so much pain. But then I realized that I was pulling his anxiety and I
Mhm.
was carrying his anxiety on my right shoulder and he was on my right side. And I was
Mhm.
like the whole 10 days, pretty much the whole 10 days, my side was hurting when I would drive my shoulder. And I would
Mhm.
tell him, Wayne, are you okay? And he's like, yeah, I'm okay. But then I'd start feeling it. When he'd calm down, my shoulder would stop hurting. But then when we'd go into a spot that was like high anxiety for him, I was feeling it on my
Mhm.
shoulder. And I was like, let's pull over or let's take a break real quick because it would bother me so much. And then
Mhm.
towards the end, I was like, I need to block myself, my energy from him. I need to block him
Mhm.
because he's hurting me. Like his energy is his
Yeah.
anxiety. I'm pulling his anxiety, but I didn't figure that out towards until like day 9, too late of the whole trip.
Right. Do it earlier. Ah,
Yes, yes, I didn't figure it out
absolutely.
so earlier. So I was feeling his anxiety without even
Mhm.
realizing it, and towards till the ends, I was like, oh my God. But
Mhm.
I don't know if anybody else has experienced that, but I do feel others' anxiety, and I feel like I carry it on my right side. I guess it depends on what side
Mhm.
they're. That trip was definitely hard for me.
Right. Oh no, Alyssa, you are spot on. And I know when some of the other DGUA communities see the playback on this, they're gonna be like, hands up, oh my gosh, because we have quite a bit of empaths, in this group. And one of the courses that's on the app is yours or mine. And so we talk about like our energy signature, knowing our own energy field, being very familiar with how we present energetically in the world. And so in the course, we go through, how do you know it's your energy versus someone else's. And that, I mean, that's one of the telltale signs we say is like, did you have this ailment maybe before? Is this something, it's been chronic? Or was it onset, like all of a sudden something came over you, right? And it was like that came out of nowhere, and then we dismiss it like, oh, I probably was thrown, or I probably did push it, we try to dismiss it. But we always recall, who was I around, what was the environment. And we're all empathetic, like all of us are, but some people are just more heightened on that. So we talk about like how to know your energetic field, right? I need to get this checked out for myself, or it doesn't even belong to you. It's somebody else's, and how to send them back that energy gently. And then, like you said, doing the protections a little bit over you, like, oh, I got to give it back to you. So that's, you're not alone. That is definitely a phenomenon. It's definitely a phenomenon. So with the introception, and that's what that brings us to, that, like we said, the introception is your ability to sense what's happening inside your body. And so when introception is strong, you can detect subtle psychological changes early. You can interpret intuitive sensations more clearly, and you can respond from alignment instead of anxiety. So being able to do some of these quick exercises we'll do here, like just to, introduce it and see if it works for you. It's a way to really tap in, not so you can control, not so you necessarily do something about, like, oh, this person about to hear, so let me do this. It's not necessarily from a place of control, but of one of empowerment, to be able to tap in and listen, because the whole point of us listening is trying to communicate to us something is going on. So we just want to be able to hear what that communication is. So when your introception is weak, you misread your body signals. So intuition could feel like panic. You disconnect from your instinct, and you rely on external validation instead of internal guidance. So that's when we run to the doctor and we're like, fix it because something's off. Which I'm not saying is to do wrong, but if you've had chronic things, like I've been to the doctors plenty of times about this, and they're like, oh, take this medicine and figure it out from there. Then I always say, like, open it up to maybe some alternative ways of healing, or alternative ways of relying on self pharmacy, inner pharmacy, to be able to help regulate it. So these exercises for sure were some of the things that I continue to do that help me. But I wanted to tell y'all specifically about, okay, so my little buspirone, right, that I was on. Now, when I first was like taking myself off, it was, what does this medicine do to me? And then how do I access my inner chemist, right, my inner pharmacist in me, to release these same things? Like, how do I do that? So specifically for buspirone, it restores balance in the automatic nervous system. So this is the fight or flight control center. I'm gonna need my fight or flight, because if I really need to fight, I don't want a medicine saying we cool. Like, I may need to fight. But it's already regulating that by itself. So when there's a time for me to actually fight or flight, I won't be able to respond accordingly, because the medicine is sort of calming that down. The other thing that really stood out about this was that it affects the parasympathetic system. And so the parasympathetic system is our body's natural chemist to release, like the serotonin and the dopamine and the GABA, and these things that kind of tell us everything is okay. So when I start realizing, wait, I have the ability to release the neurotransmitters myself, these are what the exercises that I'm going to go with y'all today actually does. So each one is doing something that the anxiety medicine was doing that I could do myself. So I was all for it. Be on this until we learn. I'm all for it. Take your medicine. Don't drive yourself crazy. But to get to the point where you can automatically be able to turn on the inner chemist and like develop these things yourself. And that was the testimony. My client was going to come on. She was on Lexapro for many, many years. other things, food, because food can release these chemicals too. I say you don't use food as a drug. And when she really switched these things and really start looking at her own biofield and her own energy signature, how she could release those chemicals on her own, it really was a game changer for her. So and she said she would record the video, so I will share that with y'all of her testimony of how she really turned her anxiety alchemy journey. So one of the exercises that can strengthen the pre-sentimental power, and when we talked about pre-sentiment, is the body's subtle awareness of our emotions, our events, energy before it's going to happen. One is the heartbeat awareness training. So this is a bio-intuitive practice. It's going to strengthen the body mind signal recognition. So it's very, very simple. And again, we talked about the heart being an intuitive organ, so that's why this one's important. So you sit quietly with one hand over your heart, one over your abdominal. This is like one of my favorite ones too. And this is perfect for you too, Elisa, because you said you feel it in both areas. Me too. And so without touching your pulse, try to feel your heartbeat. Has anybody ever felt like they heartbeat in their stomach? I used to think I was so weird for that, but I could sometimes feel my stomach, and I was like, is that just hungry? No. But just see for a second if you can feel through your hands your heart rate. And it's good if your feet are uncrossed, if you're laying down or sitting up, that's fine. And so it's just even that simple moment. I mean, 5-10 seconds, you could do this to sort of center and then count how many beats you sense in 30 seconds. And for this, when you're doing it without having to, do the pulse and the check, it's really you just can feel and feel like every time you hear the you can count that just to even see if is it going fast, is it going slow. So as you're sensing your heartbeat, you're syncing with your intuitive field. Because again, remember we said the heart is an intuitive organ. So anybody want to just share that experience of just this motion in here and feeling your heartbeat?
Oh my gosh, Steph, that was incredible. That was incredible. When you first told us to do it, I'm feeling, and you specifically said without feeling for your pulse, just see if you can feel it. And for a while, I'm like, I can't feel anything. I'm trying to, can I feel it in my stomach? No, I can't feel it. But I was just like, just stay quiet, just give it a sec. And then it came in really loud. That was one of the coolest experiences I've ever had. And now that I feel is, I imagine it's going to be like riding a bike. I'm going to be able to get right to it now
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I remember working with
because
some clients and they're like,
I
oh
know
my
what
God, I
it
can't feel my heartbeat. Am I
sounds
dead?
like. Is that
Right. You don't feel nothing. Like, am I dead? I don't even feel nothing beating.
right? Right at first. I can
See,
hear
I'm
like the
standing right
blood
there.
flow if you mean. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Lisa.
I
Sorry,
was
go
gonna
ahead,
say
Elisa.
exactly like she was saying because before you were talking about it, I was already feeling my heart. I was already feeling it. But I don't know if anybody else
Mm-hmm.
did because I closed my eyes and I could see my heart beat. I don't know if anybody else experienced that, but like I could see my heart beating when you're telling me
Mm.
to count it. Like I can see my heart pumping. I don't know if anybody else experienced that, but I did.
And that's great, Elisa, because people who are very visual, that is something absolutely you could be able to see because some people have to visualize something that they can't just like be blank mind and touch heart. They almost have to, some people will visualize like the old school heart, like which we see in the pictures, which our heart is not shaped like at all. Or they might envision like people hugging or like something they'll have to envision to get them to that part. And I've had a lot of people who are like, if I just close my eyes and nothing, like, and try to be blank mind, it's hard. But the moment they add in visualization, they can really connect to that exercise. So that's, yeah, that is absolutely spot on. Visualizing is great, especially for people who are very disconnected from their body and don't even realize how disconnected, or when they're, doing this or doing breathing, they're like, I don't feel no change. I just feel myself breathing. It's like, okay, visualize the air going in and out. And then people who have monkey mind, they start thinking other stuff. It's like, oh crap, I forgot I was breathing. And they have to bring themselves back. So visualizing is a way for them to stay locked in, as the kids say, to remember what they're doing and to be present. So thank you for sharing that. That was wonderful. Wonderful. The other one we'll quickly do is the vagus nerve breath, which I just said, talk about the breathing. And this calms the nervous system and heightens intuitive signal clarity. So this one, of course, stimulates the vagus nerve, which is lowering cortisol, which, if you have high anxiety, that cortisol is being released. And then this increases one of my favorite, which is GABA, GABA, and this is the neurotransmitter of safety. So this is a one that I really encourage. If you see everything's all the rave of breathing and deep breathing, and it seems like so simple, but working with, cult survivors and church hurt survivors and domestic violence victims and survivors and sexual assault, this of feeling not even safe in your body is a game changer. And you don't even have to have gone through nothing that extreme for it to be a game changer of just feeling safe. And in the world, we're living in, we got to work, we have this, we worry. And if you're a worry word or you're overthinker, this vagus nerve breath is really going to help you, because it's doing the science. It's releasing the GABA, which is the neurotransmitter to say you're safe. So for this one, we're going to do an inhale through the nose for 4 seconds. So you're going to breathe in for 4. And at the top of the breath, you're going to hold for 4 seconds. And then when you exhale, you're going to part through your mouth and you're going to make a little humming sound, like you want that sound to go with the breath. So I'll do a full one just for you to see it. So. And you want that full exhalation with the sound, and then close the lips again for the breath up. At the top of the breath, you're going to hold the 4 seconds. And then we're going to exhale through the mouth. I'm parting the lips slightly with the sound coming out. So I'll let you do it one more time. In through the nose for 4 seconds. At the top of that 4 seconds, you're going to hold for 4 seconds. And then you're going to do a full exhalation through the mouth, parted lips with sound. Man. So this also clears the noise in the nervous system so that your intuitive can speak through your body. So remember we talked about in the beginning when the heighten, right? The heart is feeling it, the stomach, our hands are clammy. You're starting to worry or you're overthinking. Could it be this? Could it be that? Is it one of my kids? Like Elisa said, is it one of my kids? Which 5 is it, right? The brain is taking over. This is what's releasing the neurotransmitters that is dumping cortisol, that is dumping panic. And so now our intuition is being compromised. So this is a way to get out of our head and get into our body so that we can release the chemicals that we need so that we can hear our intuition. And it comes like that. You could do the breath one time and it's like, it's this kid, it's this situation. I'm about to lose my job. Like it'll come that clear because intuitiveness is a knowingness that's not connected to our 5 senses and it's not connected to our intellect thinking mind. So the answer will come very quick. Anybody want to share their experience with the breathing? And it's okay if you get it where you're like, I just felt like I was breathing. That's a start. I've had plenty that's just like, I felt like I was breathing. I felt relaxed, or they fell asleep, which means your body is really tired. So there's no wrong way to do this, y'all. There's no right or wrong way. We have our own experiences. Well, I'll share mine. I mean, I just for sure felt I could almost in like almost like with Elisa, I too get like a visual and I get the sensation. So when I did it, even in the exercise after, I could almost feel like I felt a little tapping on my temple and a little tapping on like my crown. And for me, I see it as like stuff being released. Like I feel the GABA being released. I feel like the serotonin is being released. So I can like, and I can almost taste it. I can taste, it almost tastes like not a metal, like a irony thingy. Anyway, it's weird. Yeah, I can taste it too. So that was my whole thing. I got the taste literally changed in my mouth. And I felt the tapping. And then once I got done, I really felt great.
Yeah, I felt a release also, just like
Mhm.
calming and thinking, how many times could I have used this before? That's what I felt like. Oh
All
my
of
God.
us.
Yeah.
So that's all, and that's what I think it'll be so beneficial to for you, Elisa, because you're already experiencing it. It's just shortening the time. So instead of like you saying, I'm 9 hours into the trip, or it was after, my son called, and then I finally found this. Even if it got you a little bit closer, right, to not having to have the uncomfortability, then I mean, all the better. I mean, and as we master self, the goal is to get it shorter and shorter in the perfect world. Dana, you want to share how you feeling, or did you fall asleep? Because I feel like that breathing, you're like,
I literally did start dozing off. I think I'm just really, why am I always the only one that's sleepy? I think I'm the
because
only one in
you
life.
work a lot. No,
I
you're not.
do. Oh my gosh. I was like, this is really common. I probably shouldn't do this too much because I'll fall asleep.
And that's why I say if you fall asleep, that's always a great thing because it means your body needs the rest. Same way when you learn meditation, my meditation teacher used to say, when you first learn, the goal is to get to 10 without stopping and without your mind wandering. So when you would just like think one, and I would have to visualize it again to lock in, and then two, and then I'm already thinking like, dang, did I take out that chicken in the oven? I'm like, God, I got to start all over. One. And then sometimes I'll be like at four, and then I'm in la la land. I'm like, oh shoot, I'm supposed to be counting one. And I was like, I swear to God, I ain't gonna never make it to 10. But I committed to it every day because she would require us to do 15 minutes of meditation every day. And she's like, you can't get wrong. Just you got to commit to it. That's all you can do. And I finally remember even making it to 9. And then this is how the mind tricks you. I got to 9 and I said, oh, heck yeah. I'm finally going to make it to 10 because I was so tired of starting over. And I was like, start over again. I ain't going to never do it. And I was like, oh, crap. I distracted myself. Back at 1. I was so mad. But I finally made it to 10. And once I did that, it was like the second time I was like, oh shoot, I could easily go to 10 faster. And so that was the practice of not having a monkey mind, right? Because our brain needs a break. It's exhausted. If it's thinking all the time, it's like nobody can run that machine forever. The machine is going to start wearing down the equipment, right? And the things that host it. So when your mind is that overactive, it's exhausting because you've basically been up for your brain has been up for days and days and days, even though your body has been sleeping, your brain hasn't taken a day off. So even doing that meditation to 10, that little bit of time gives your thinking brain a break. And I mean, you feel reset like you slept for hours. Go ahead, Dana.
Oh yeah, I just wanted to add what you were saying about like just not being able you're like, okay, dang, I gotta start over. I felt like that. And then I woke up I mean, I went to sleep at probably 1:30 a.m. And then I woke up and was like, no, my stomach hurts. I'm going to the bathroom. So then I went to the bathroom and then I was like, you know what? Now I'm up. I might as well just do some work. So I was up at 5 o'clock, like on my bed with my laptop, with my phone, like doing stuff. And then my husband woke up and was like, are you okay? I said, yeah, I'm good. Like, What's up? Nothing. You can go back to
Mm-hmm.
sleep. And then I stayed up
Mm-hmm.
until like 6 a.m. doing things.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, okay, I think I'm going to go to sleep. And then obviously
Mm-hmm.
I didn't sleep long. I probably went 3 hours and now I'm back up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that could definitely, like I said, that thinking mind not being fully shut off. And I would even take the moment, if you feel like sharing, to maybe ask if you could have done something else in that time without work, what would you have done?
At 5 a.m. in the morning, I do not know. I don't know. If like the moment I wake up, I'm like, okay, work, getting things done. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
my mind. And when I wake up and I actually get out of bed, that's the first thing I'm doing. Like, okay, I already planned what I need to do. So that's what I'm doing. But the fact that
Mm-hmm.
I woke up early, I'm like, you know what? Let me be productive. So that's my mind, productive.
Mm-hmm. And so if you think if your body is also like an inner chemist, and say we just did that, we did the hand to heart and we did the breathing, and you realizing your body is resetting, it's at a cellular level, it is, setting off the neurotransmitters that is going to basically tell your body to be well, right? It's all of these things work in alignment. Does that seem unproductive?
No, that doesn't seem unproductive, but I didn't know that
Yeah.
until what time is it? 2 o'clock.
Yeah, I was today years old.
Right.
Yeah, so that's what I always say is understanding our inner self, and how we're really made up and what really goes on in our inner environment. And that's the other course I would encourage you to take. That's in the spiritual one. It's called Connecting to Your Hi-Fi, meaning your higher self, so that you could get connected to the inner net, because we're our own computers, right? How do cell phones work? If you ask anybody, well, I would say some, if they're young, they might know, and even then they don't know. If you say, can you take me through the exact way that your cell phone works? How does it connect to a signal that we can't see? How do these waves know to talk to each other? Explain it to me. Break down the science. They will be like, I just turned that joint on, and somebody said 4G, and then it worked. And then there's areas where it don't work. So the connecting to your hi-fi, getting connected to your internet is first learning your own, spiritual and biological makeup, to see like we are these very infinite cool beings, and we have more power than we realize. So I would say check out that course. That's a fun course. I might bring that one back because that's always a very popular one, that people absolutely love. But that's something we can work on, Dana, for sure.
But
All
let
right.
me ask
Well,
real
go ahead.
quick.
Yeah,
Sorry,
Lisa.
one of the questions.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like I struggling with menopause, right? So and I was gonna ask Dana, like, is because okay, I'd be go to sleep at 10, wake up at 1, stay up till 5, then take a nap. I say a nap, like a 30-minute nap. Got to be up at 6:30, back and at work at 7, 8:30, 7, 7:30, whatever. So I was sleeping maybe 2, 3 hours, and is because my body was all unbalanced because of my menopause going crazy. And I don't know if that's something she could be going to as well. And it's about finding the balance to stay asleep, because I'd wake up and just be up. Like, even if I wouldn't get up to go work because I'm fighting with myself. Go back to sleep, Elisa, go back to sleep. But my brain's ready to take off. And I'm like, no,
Yeah.
I need rest. So I don't know if that's something that she's going through. And I think that I also need to look at that that one that you were looking
Mm-hmm.
at, because now they put me on medicine. Yes, it makes me sleep, but I don't like to take medicine, and so
Mm-hmm.
I struggle with that. And if I don't take it, then I'm up. My mind is working, even though my body's tired. My brain is just in other places, thinking and worrying
Mm-hmm.
and letting me rest. My brain thinks it needs to be working all the time when my body's like, no, Elisa, you need to rest. And I couldn't find a balance in between that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's nighttime, you need to sleep. I
Mm-hmm.
struggle with that. And I don't know if that's what Dana was going through as well.
Well, Dana, you want to answer her? Or she'll,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely. Um, I don't think it's menopause. I haven't hit it yet, but I think it's more so that my mind doesn't like it doesn't shut off. It's always going. From the moment I wake up to the moment I lay down. In my dreams, I am working. Like I will dream about working because I'm
You have to work.
constantly like,
I have work dreams too.
yeah, I'm like constantly like doing stuff in my dreams. So when I wake up, it's never really off. And then if something didn't
Mm-hmm.
go right during the day, I spend the whole day like, dang, I should have changed that. I could have did this. Why did I do this? So that whole
Mm-hmm.
morning, I don't even know what day are we on? Sunday? So
Mm-hmm.
I haven't really slept since Friday because I've been busy working, trying to get things done, just trying to pick up the pieces where everybody else drops them. Because if I don't, nobody will. So I literally was doing that all day. And then yesterday it was just kind of like, okay, what could I have done? Why didn't I change this? Why did I do that? So when I woke up at 5 a.m., I'm like, nope, I'm changing this. I'm going to do this. And then that's what I was doing at 5 a.m. But also the whole, when you asked about like nervous and things like that, I never considered myself like a nervous person. But then I realized I used to have like a stomach ache all the time. I went to the doctor. I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't eat a lot of foods and things like that. And then one day
Mm-hmm.
a friend told me, she was like, you just have like a nervous stomach. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what that means. And she was like, it's just like, she didn't say anxiety, she just said nervous stomach. So,
Mm-hmm.
but I think it was a way of presenting itself. Now that I'm not as like, I guess, nervous or anxious, my stomach is very common and I change a lot of things that I eat. But
Mm-hmm.
it that would explain why I woke up at 5 a.m. and was like, oh my gosh, my stomach hurts.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because it was the nervousness. And that's what when the first time I was prescribed Busporin, I will make that correction because now I'm remembering that was the second time after the second miscarriage that I got it. Was I actually was going to the doctor all the time for my stomach wall problems. And I mean, they were like, you got IBS, I did all the celiac disease to see if I was allergic to all these foods. And it was just an ongoing thing. And I remember going to a new doctor, and she's Indian. And she asked me, she said, have you ever been prescribed anything for anxiety? And I said, no, I'm not anxious. Like, I don't have no anxiety problems. She's like, and that's the first time I heard, like, sometimes the medicine can help with stomach problems. And I thought, okay, not even locking in on this anxiety medicine. I took it, and lo and behold, probably I would say within, because buspirone takes a while, I would say within 2 to 3 weeks, my stomach was so much better. And I thought about that, like, dang, when I'm nervous, I get, people say you get butterflies in your stomach or you get this like tense. And then again, when I started, self mastering and learning about the chemist in me, I started understanding, because I do energy work and I do intuitive work, and my job is all about me using my intuition. It would make sense that I would have stomach stuff going on because my intuition is always going. So for like y'all mind and brain that's always going, my intuitive, which I carry mostly in my solar plexus and my gut, it is constantly going because my whole work is intuitive, my whole day of life is intuitive. And so it was just nervous, and it was slowing down my digestive system. So when I started learning practices like the somatic breathing, doing more body movement, understanding some foods that were, good. Again, food is also medicine, that were, just not mixing with my own inner medicine, and just kind of like, you got to almost be your own experiment, right? You got to like practice these different things. To me, that started being my work. So I started saying, that is, if I really love what I do, and if I really want to be productive, and I really want to build or grow something, that it's not even negotiable for me to neglect my wellness. Like, my wellness is the foundation of me doing everything else. So now I started small with, normally 90% of my day was work. Now it was maybe 87.5. And the moment I would say, "Ooh, I got this great idea for something," or "Oh, I need to follow up with this person and set up a meeting," I would even just do the breathing. It takes a few seconds. And so I thought, it's not even taking long. And of course, you're thinking, I don't feel nothing out of the gate. But all I could do was commit to the practice, even when I didn't see the results. Same way when you take the medicine that the doctor give you. Same way when you do anything somebody will recommend. It takes a while. You got to kind of just on faith kind of do it. So I love that you guys share that journey. And same way to Elisa. Yeah, I'm perimenopausal. So I'm in that new perimenopausal. So that's been fun. I mean, I like doing like work stuff. I'm my favorite person. So I've really embraced this perimenopausal journey. I'm calling it the great transition. So for some of y'all that don't know, after my wreck, I entered into my shamanic mentorship. And so I am mentoring with a few shamans. And so I'm learning alternative ways of healing and expanding my knowledge of healing. And so in other cultures and other places, they look at this as a great transition. And I understand Western culture doesn't have the best relationship with menopause and perimenopause and going into the great transition, where other cultures and countries do. It's a phenomenal time for them. So I always say there's a reason the name pause is in menopause and perimenopausal, because it's time for us to pause, and do some self-examination, do some self-reflection, what's working, what's not working, and really just be gentle with ourselves along that time and just pause and take a moment. And so if your mind is going a lot, if your stomach is going a lot, it might be time for you to pause. And you don't necessarily need someone to tell you that. You can go to the doctors and they can tell you biologically and blood wise, um, yeah, because this hormone level is this level, because this level is this level. The blood tells us you're in menopause, but we feel it way before we get it, right? So we start having those. I'm about to cuss somebody out, and something just feels off, or I love my life. Why am I miserable? Or, just it's these signs that again, when we can learn pre-sentimental, right, hearing our body and how it's responding to the world, and be able to do that introspection, right? Of paying attention, then we're able to kind of invoke our inner pharmacist and really release what we need. And then support groups like this for sure. We can't get through it alone, ladies. I don't want to get through it alone. We got to rely on each other, talk therapy, coaching, support, someone just listening. This all actually works for us, because it helps us to be able to have a better level of wellness. So I appreciate you guys being here for sure. And, we're at our time. I just want to spend the last like couple minutes, and I will send you guys all the other exercises to strengthen the present mental power. It'll be on the app too, but I'll email it to y'all personally. And it just gives you the really quick, easy, steps to do it. So I'll just leave the last few minutes for anybody who wants to share or have any lasting wisdom, thoughts, encouragement, anything. I'll open it up for that, for us to close out on that note.
I would like to share. Earlier when
Yes,
we did
please.
put the hand on the heart and stomach area, I did experience something at my job where this guy got really loud with the doctor and he slammed the door. I was in another room, but it triggered me. It triggered me. I did feel the heart racing and all of that stuff. And I sat down, I put my hand on my heart, and I started telling myself, Elisa, you're safe. It triggered me from
Mm-hmm,
domestic
mm-hmm,
violence issues. Elisa, you're
mm-hmm,
safe. Elisa, you're loved. You're okay. And I started
mm-hmm,
breathing, but I just did it to myself. And my coworker turns to me. She's like, Elisa, are you okay? I said, I'm working through something. Just give me a minute. But
mm-hmm,
without even realizing what I was doing right now, like it just all came to me. I just like downloaded to me. You were already doing this without knowing you were doing
mm-hmm,
this. Breathing through it, telling myself that I was okay, putting my hand on my heart. And it was just a trigger that I didn't realize, the slamming of the door and the yelling from the
mm-hmm,
domestic violence issue. It put me back in that situation and it gave me that
mm-hmm,
anxiety, but I had to calm myself down, put my hand on my heart, and
mm-hmm,
tell myself I was loved, I was okay, and I was safe.
mm-hmm,
And that was an experience that just downloaded to me right now, talking about all of
mm-hmm,
this. And so it just brings me to a place where, man, I feel safe right now. I feel loved. I'm
mm-hmm.
okay, and I'm okay. And thank you for the time. And I'm sorry I talked a lot, but it's my
No,
experience.
Alyssa, you not at all. You are a well of wisdom, a well of wisdom and a well of power. It's always a delight when you get on here, and you always share and impart some wisdom that I even get, of course, because it's a shared space. But it's that reminder of like we already are doing it. We're already doing it. I'm not telling y'all nothing that y'all not already doing. It's about tapping into it, It's about being aware of it and remembering and just being present in it, right? And knowing, like you said, you did that. Like, I need a minute. I'm going through something. This, and then when I give people the science behind it, because of the way our intellect is set up and overstimulated, it connects the dots. And if that can make you believe deeper, then it'll get you there sooner or quicker or better or with less, disharmony. So when I can give people, like, you literally release the neurotransmitter, which is GABA, which is our transmitter to say we're safe. That medicine does. You turned on your own internal pharmacy and you released that. We got it. We got it. We're everything we need. It's like, man, I can do this thing. And it just makes you feel more empowered. It makes you feel less helpless. It makes you feel like you do have something, some type of real control over your life, versus artificial control. And to me, that's the difference between, controlling and being empowered. Like, you have power over everything going on in your life. So thank you for sharing that. I'm very inspired. Thank you, Lisa. Anybody else? Coco, impart words, wisdom.
Um, I didn't have any wisdom, actually, just more questions because I'm always in student mode. Um, for the vagus nerve breath, like how often should we practice that practice?
I would say, look, since this is all about intuitive, what does your intuition say you should, how often you should do it? What's your gut
And then
say?
my brain got in the way because I was like, well, it looks like there's fours here, so I should probably do 4 cycles of four, and in
There you
between.
go. Through the what? You went out on that last part.
Monkey mind was coming in and trying to take over, and I was like, "Go have a seat in the corner, Mr. Monkey." Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's better.
Hello.
Yeah. I know
Okay, I
you, and
was just
that
saying like
that
I would do
that's it.
four, but then
Mm.
oh, I'm sorry, I must have a delay. My audio is weird. I'm sorry. I put it in the chat, but thank you so much.
No, you're welcome. Yeah. And like you said, the 4 and 4, and that, like you just said, when your brain's trying to overanalyze it, but then when you put it in real practice, I mean, your brain might say, we're doing this 4 times this, and you get there like, I need to do it more, or I need to do it less. But that's the thing, you can't really get it wrong as long as you're doing it. And then intuitively, you'll have times, like you said, you just something comes over you and you feel unsafe. And because now you already have this as a practice, it's going to be intuitive to just do that. And like, it's going to be your go to. Like, some people, it's their go to eat, use food as just medicine or just to blank out or to cuss out. Like, it's not hard, it's habit. So it's really the practices are you enfolding a new habit in order to take care of yourself and your wellness. And so you'll know, just like when you get done eating when you're full, or when this is not right for you, you'll be guided internally to like know how often you should do it, I would say. But yeah, that's great. Dana, any last words, thoughts you would like to share?
I was just sitting here thinking, like, why is every time I come on here, it's always something for me to do? Like, I always feel like I am behind the ball, like all the time. So I was actually just sitting here. When you called my name, I was rubbing my temple. Like, I don't even know. I was listening and then I was like, why is it something that I need to do? Why can't I just get it together? And then I was like, what was it that I was doing last night before I went to sleep? And I was actually looking at my calendar like, oh, you know what? I need to plan a vacation. When can I plan a vacation when I can leave the entire family and just be by myself? And they'll be
Mhm.
somewhat okay for like 5 days.
Mhm.
So, like I said, I'm never off. Yeah.
It's all right. It's all right. Look, you're not alone. We're gonna get
I guess
there.
I should have took that breath then. Instead, I was sitting here looking at you, rubbing my temple, like, oh my gosh, like my right temple, my fingers on it, like I'm just like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah. No, you're fine. And I mean, that's why we have a philosophy at DGUA. The more you're in our circle, the more you'll be in community and we'll support you and know that you're not alone. And that's why we have our whole mantra, which is do less and be more. And when we're at this age in our life and our careers that we've done everything that we can do. There's no to-do list that we have never met that we didn't conquer. And so now in this phase of our life, we're wanting to learn how to shift to be more and really just focus on our state of being, and knowing our state of being will make things happen, right? Instead of this push, push, push. But it's just the way we were wired and trained. And so that's pretty much all of the courses are like gently learning how to just be and not do so much so that we don't have to push ourselves to exhaustion, or God forbid, there's things that happen where now we're being forced to have to slow down. And
I'm
so that's
gonna
why I said I
take
always
my
try to find
F.
practices that are slow.
I'm gonna take my F for today. I feel like I felt I
You
felt
did
that
not
lesson
fail.
today. I'm gonna
You
try
did
again
not fail.
tomorrow.
You did not fail. You did not fail. It's not a win or lose. It's not a win or lose. It's not a good or in this space, there's no good or bad. There's no win or losing. You can't get it wrong. That's going to be probably the hardest thing you'll have to know. You can't get this stuff wrong. If you show up and you just, that's it. Like you can't get it wrong. It's going to be perfect for you. So but that's the thing it's like I was talking to my sister the other day about Oculus Razor. It's a problem solving principle that says the simplest solution is normally the correct one. It's called Occam's Razor. I don't know if you ever heard that. Occam's Razor is a problem solving principle. That means the simplest solution is normally the right one. So the easiest way is the hardest because it's like it's so simple. It's so simple. You can't get it wrong, no thing, I promise. But I honor how you feel. I honor where you are. So it's a process. All right. Well, I love you ladies so much. I'll also send out this recording because, stuff resonates later when you can listen back to it. And I'm just so grateful for every single one here in this spiritual space to know that, we are spirit first, we are flesh second, that we are safe and that we are loved and that we are beautiful and that we have everything that we really need. We are everything that we need. And so I just thank you ladies for sharing this space with me. I am better, I am well, I am happier, I'm richer, I'm fuller just because you all are on here. And I'm just eternally grateful to be able to do this work. So thank you guys so much. I'm here if you want. Alyssa, I'm about to start working on that flyer right now. So you're going to have it within an hour. Just side note. I'm about to send you the flyer. So other than that, I love you guys. You guys. And for those who's watching later, you missed it. Let me know what your thoughts are on the chat and on the YouTube comments. Thank you.